So, und jetzt, wo ich genug Insight habe, Sweetie, you wanted to talk. Let's talk.
Thank you again for maintaining my story in front of Benessa and the others.
Yeah, I didn't have much of a choice, did I? I'm not that kind of asshole who blows a whole cover story. Ich schenke dir ein dankbares Lächeln, das fast so schnell vergeht, wie es kommt. Oh, keep smiling, darling.
I didn't enjoy deceiving them, but it seemed simpler than the alternative.
Ja. Seraphim findet das gut, Shorty findet das nicht gut. In meinem vorherigen Playthrough hat Shorty irgendwie, weil sie, keine Ahnung, zweimal irgendwelche Storys hat anhören müssen, dass Aloth irgendwo Leute beschummelt hat während seiner 5 Jahre zwischen den Spielen. Deswegen hat sie ihn schon auf -1 Freundschaft gehabt und angefangen, ihn zu hassen. Ja. Shorty mag das nicht. Wenn du meinst. Nicht mit dem Mikro schmusen, Schatz, ich muss mit der Mama. Einfach als zu erklären, was du mit dem Leaden Key zu tun hast, auf jeden Fall. Es ist nie einfach, eine Lüge aufrechtzuerhalten. Das solltest du besser wissen als jeder andere. True. Ich bin überrascht, dass du mir so lange im Zaum halten konntest. Auch wahr? Genau, und um nach der Benessa nachzuhaken, dafür braucht man das Insight. Deswegen steigere ich das am Anfang immer so viel. Also, nee, ich wollte jetzt sagen, nicht nur wegen der Konversation, aber ja, nur wegen dieser einen Konversation. Und einsamer, sie schienen dir etwas zu bedeuten, aber sie kannten dich nicht wirklich. Ja, nicht so, wie ich dich kenne. Du spürst, eine Rolle ist ja nicht so, als ob du sie wiedersehen würdest, zum Glück. And it's Animancers. Who would want to spend time with Animancers anyway? Ja, ich werde es nicht mögen, aber denkst du noch an Benessa?
I realized there could be nothing between us. But it was nice to have a friend all the same.
Because you never had a friend before. Because I was never a friend. Yes? It kind of makes me hate those Animancers more than I already did. And I kind of want to go back and kill them. I think Baldur's Gate changed me. Not in the good kind of way. Ich dachte, wir wären Freunde. Ja, ich dachte, zwischen uns könnte mehr sein. Was genau hast du da eigentlich gemacht? Woher kennen wir uns nochmal? I feel like I know you from somewhere, but I have spontaneous memory loss. Could you refresh my memory? Weißt du, ich dachte, da wäre vielleicht was zwischen uns. Fun fact. Telling him I thought there could be something between you and I doesn't get you any friendship points. You can basically tell him, I was crushing on you for 5 years already. And he's like, okay. Doesn't do anything. I'm still gonna say it. Ach ja, weil ich schon eins clever habe. Er plötzlich erstaunt an, dann fängt er an zu kichern. Jedoch liegt darin eine Spurensicherheit. Ich bin auch ehrlich. Glaubt mir doch, wenn ich sage, dass ich auf dich stehe. I'm not joking. I'm very serious with my crushes.
I almost forgot how much you enjoy a good joke, even at my expense.
I wasn't joking. Not at all. Er lächelt jedoch eher müde als amüsiert. Weißt du was? Vergiss, dass ich was gesagt habe. Tatsächlich kann ich die Antwort ein bisschen verstehen. Du hast recht, ich habe nur Gewürze gemacht, ja. Lügen. Ja, du hast mich erschaut. Ich habe dich nur auf den Arm genommen. I mean it.
Forgive me, but you've caught me quite off guard.
Ja. Spontaneous confessions of love do that to you.
I'm truly glad to see you again, but it's been 5 years. And we've both been through quite a lot.
And in those 5 years, you managed to not get into contact with me and develop a crush on an Animancern. Really? I'm disappointed, Aloth. I'm really disappointed. I thought you and I, we were buddies in hating Animancers. Suchend ruhen seine Augen auf dir, als ob er das Ausmaß der Veränderungen ermessen wollte, die eingetreten sind. Ja, viel Spaß.
Perhaps we should focus on the work before us for now.
You mean instead of discussing your crush on an Animancer and my crush on you? Yeah, maybe we could focus on important stuff. Maybe. Aber eigentlich wolltest du doch sagen, was du hier draußen getrieben hast, Darling.
After we parted, I set out to destroy the Leaden Key.
Der mag das.
It's controlled us for too long. I wanted to free Kith from it. So for 5 years, I've been tracking down Leaden Key circles, searching for the places where they operate in secret.
Ah ja, das findet Jodie wiederum gut. Sie findet es okay, wenn man herumreist. Aber wenn man, um Infiltrationsmissionen zu machen. Aber wenn man dann lügt, um sie zu machen, das ist nicht okay.
Trying to undo them.
Und wie ist das so gelaufen? Oh, du tust das Richtige, vergiss das nicht. Und hast du mit denen angefangen, die von kristallklaren Gewässern und Sandstränden aus operieren? Wo sonst? Sorg einfach dafür, dass sie nie wieder ein solch abscheuliches Verbrechen wie Wildlands Legacy begehen können. Genau, mach das. Single-handedly. Das ist kein Problem. Ich vertraue dir, du kriegst es hin. Du verschwendest deine Zeit. Oh, wie grausam. Moment mal, das hast du die ganze Zeit über gemacht. Das klingt nach keiner guten Idee. Genau. Guter freundschaftlicher Rat 5 Jahre zu spät. Yeah. You started with the ones operating on sandy beaches, yeah?
It does seem idyllic, but the pamphlets fail to mention the worm nests and sea serpents.
I could have told you that if you had just asked me. Er verstummt und die Fröhlichkeit verfliegt aus seinem Gesicht. Wann ist der Mann denn jemals fröhlich? Come on.
The task has been more difficult than I anticipated.
Tell me more.
I don't think I fully understood the weight of the decisions I would have to make, or the burden of living with them.
So far, that's not very surprising, darling.
It was much easier when I only had to follow someone else's lead. My father's, Theos's, yours.
Well, my orders at least were of the good kind, I guess. I think so. I'm quite certain. Really. Was meinst du damit? Klar doch, ganz einfach war das damals. Ich habe dich nur direkt in das Gefängnis der Götter geführt. True, das war total easy, als wir in eine Grube gesprungen sind, ohne zu wissen, ob wir lebend unten ankommen und ob wir da wieder rauskommen und darauf vertraut haben, dass uns irgendwelche Seelenenergien schon auffangen werden. Und dann durch ein Seelengefängnis gelatscht sind. In dem Wissen, dass wir am Ende Theos verprügeln gehen. Easy war das. Total easy. Und es war offensichtlich so traumatisch, dass wir danach alle unsere Levels wieder vergessen haben. Ja, wir müssen halt alle irgendwann auf eigenen Beinen stehen. Als du damit angefangen hast, hattest du ein klares Ziel. Verlier das nicht aus den Augen. Das ist auch eine valide Option. Oh, wie süß, kann ich irgendwie helfen? Oh mein Gott, ich will alles sagen. Also fast alles. Die 3 nicht. Kann ich dir irgendwie helfen, Schatz?
I wish I knew. After we defeated Theos, I thought the hard part of undoing his work would be tracking down the Leaden Key's members and operations.
And that wasn't the case? Vielleicht hatte er ja ein Adressbuch. Schade, dass du seine Roben verbrannt hast. Gott. Ja. Ja. Aber?
Perhaps this would be easier with an example.
Okay. Hit me.
I went to a village in Old Vailia, a run-down backwater river place.
Just like Gilded Vale?
Aye, right home like it was.
Hi, Isilmir. Annas Gesichtsausdruck verändert sich, als Isilmir kurz an die Oberfläche kommt. Oh, I missed you, Isilmir.
Centuries ago, the Leaden Key had intervened to end some heretical cult. The details were lost, but what had endured was a practice of ritual bloodletting. A gruesome, pointless tradition.
You got an eye for charming little towns, I'll say that much.
True. But you could say the same about them. As I said, every village she comes by, there's a riot, people murdering each other, people hanging from trees.
At every full moon, the villagers would feed the soil with their blood. No one, young or old, sick or hale, was exempt.
Lovely. Und was hast du getan? Hast du mitgemacht? Damit werden sie sicher etwas bezweckt haben. Ja. Ja. Sich ein bisschen die Adern aufschlitzen, den Boden voll bluten, das hat bestimmt einen Sinn. Du hast ihnen geholfen, oder? Es gibt sowieso zu viele Idioten auf der Welt. Wenn ein paar von denen ausbluten, ist doch, das ist okay. Es gibt Schlimmeres, als ein bisschen zu bluten. Die Antwortmöglichkeiten schaffen mich manchmal. Die gehen manchmal so in so voll verschiedene Richtungen. Du bist süß, Hase. You helped them, didn't you?
That's where it gets complicated.
I thought it was a simple yes or no question. No? Betrübt blickte auf seine verschränkten Finger. Oh. Tell me everything, darling.
The village priest administered the practice. Grim old fellow. Reminded me of Theos.
Wicket el bun bag, 'tis what the lad means.
Whatever you just said, Isilmir, I agree with you.
He was a tyrant. I was certain that if the villagers were free of his influence, they'd be free from the bloodletting too.
Uh-huh. Valid assumption.
So I arranged for him to have an accident.
Accident. Alright. Sieht dich verschwitzt an. Ja, Sarah findet das gut, Shoti findet das scheiße. Das ist diese eine Konversation, wo er schon mal so einen schlechten Anfangsstand bei Shoti kreieren kann. Und dann, clever, das hört sich nach einem der schmutzigen Tricks von Theos an. Von dir hätte ich ehrenhafteres Handeln erwartet. True, I would expect him to be more honorable, but I'm also a rogue and I like and use shady tactics myself. So yeah, that was very clever of you, darling.
I thought so, at first.
Wenigstens krieg ich jetzt auch Shotis Hass ab. Das macht aber nichts. Die wird mich eh toll finden.
The old man died, and the villagers were terrified. They were convinced his death was an ill omen. They blamed it, and every other mishap that befell them, on their lack of faith. So they began bloodletting every week, turning on their neighbors for giving too little.
Sounds like quite the mess. Er verzieht die Lippen, als würden die Worte einen bitteren Geschmack in seinem Mund hinterlassen. Oh, sweetie.
Instead of a handful dying each year, a few perished every week.
Well, that would have taken care of matters by itself, I guess. At some point, they all have to be dead. And then there's no problem anymore, right? Inzwischen hat er den Saum seiner Schärpe fest verknotet. Er klammert ihn mit bleichen, starren Fingern. Oh. Und jetzt machst du dir deswegen Vorwürfe, ja? Vielleicht hättest du sie einfach in Ruhe lassen sollen. Das hast du nicht wissen können. Das war nicht dein Fehler. Wenn du dieses Ritual kaum verstanden hattest, wie wolltest du es dann stoppen? Du hast immerhin versucht, das Richtige zu tun, und darauf kommt es an. Yeah, that's the point where I have to do a little spoiler, major spoiler. Yeah, major spoiler. So if anyone doesn't want to hear about ending screens, just mute the video until you actually see me select an option. Just as in the previous game, this game has hidden counters for some of the companions that determine their fate in the epilogue. And with Aloth, it's whether he feels responsible for what he did during those 5 years, or actually more like 4 years, when he hunted the Leaden Key, or if he feels like he didn't cause such a mess and, well, it's fine. And I'm the kind of person who always wants to encourage people, and I think it was the right thing to encourage him to hunt the Leaden Key. And I want to tell him the whole time, it's all right, you did the right thing, don't worry, honey, it's fine. But if I do that, he thinks, yeah, hunting the Leaden Key is a good option. I'll keep doing that when we're done here. I didn't know that when I first played the game. And I had a very hard time romancing him. So it was, I don't know, it feels like it was just a short while before the game ended when I finally was in a relationship with him. And then I ended the game, and the endgame screen said something like, his one regret is that he had to leave the watcher he came to love. He bids you a fond farewell and then goes back to hunting the Leaden Key. And I was like, seriously? I always wanted to romance you in the first game, didn't have the option. Now I finally succeeded, and you leave me? That's it? I was so devastated. I had a lot of devastating endgame screens during my first playthrough. It was a total mess. But that was what really broke me, and where I became very careful in what options to select. Das versucht das Richtige zu tun, bist du unfassbar inkompetent. Mach du es doch besser. Anyway, if I don't want him to leave, I have to tell him, yes, you're responsible. You should consider what you did in the meantime and stuff like that. But there will be enough options to do that later, and I think there's one choice at the end of his quest where you can override all the others, so I think if I'm nice now, I will have enough options to feel like a real bitch later. Because telling someone, yeah, what you did wasn't very, very good, it just feels like not being a good friend. So, yeah, you did the right thing, honey. It's all right. I know you meant well. And you're not incompetent. Don't listen to my husband. He's just jealous. Yay, guilt trip so he doesn't leave you and is bound to you. That's really not what I want to do. I don't know, that felt so awkward. I mean, considering that Katnua fell when Aethys rose, and I don't know, it's a ruin or a pile of rubble now. So where would your main character go after this game? There's no keep to return to. What duties does she have? Why can't she just say, oh yeah, I don't like the Leaden Key either for obvious reasons. I'll accompany you. That's what I would find logical, but I don't have a choice to do that. So it's either love me, stay by my side, and abandon all your duties, or yeah, keep doing what you do, and I'll miss you terribly. So yeah, manipulating him into feeling guilty it is. But later. Now I'm still the nice kind of person who says, "Oh, you did everything right."
Is it? In the end, the villagers suffered more because of my actions.
Well, that's on them. You didn't tell them to do more bloodletting. They came up with that stupid idea all by themselves. Er hält wiederum inne und löst den Knoten in der Schärpe in seinem Schoß. Ja, pass mal gut auf deine Klamotten auf, Schatz.
I keep wondering what I might have done differently, or how I could have known better.
Sucks to be them. Yeah. Yeah, maybe more research might have helped, sweetie. Darauf habe ich auch keine Antwort. Aus seinen Fehlern zu lernen ist ein guter Anfang. Hör auf darauf herumzureiten, damit lebst du dich doch nur selbst. Die Dorfbewohner hatten einen Weg gefunden, mit dem Ritual zu leben. Vielleicht hätten sie irgendwann etwas von sich aus geändert. Die Dorfbewohner wollten es so. Sie sind schuld, nicht du. Sag ich doch. Ja, Schätzchen. Yeah, learning from mistakes would be a good start, I guess.
I suppose so.
Yeah, you know I'm always right. You already said so several times. 5 years ago.
Thank you. It's a relief to share this burden. You've given me a lot to think about.
You can share so much more with me, sweetie. Everything. Your burdens, your troubles, your bed. I didn't say that. Yes, I said that. Reden wir später weiter. Du hast mir immer noch nicht erzählt, was es mit den Animancern zu tun hat. Where the fuck did those Animancers come in?
Ah, that.
Yeah, I'm not fond of that topic either.
I'm looking for an old Leaden Key sect. I've found several references, but I want to be sure. Please, let me go over my notes again. Then I promise I'll tell you everything.
So we're doing more research to be sure we got the right guys this time. Is that it? Dann reden wir später. Es geht doch nicht um Notizen, das sehe ich doch auch. Dir doch an. Du hast schon wieder Selbstzweifel. Inside fühlt sich immer so an, als wärst du Psychoanalyst und Sigmund Freud persönlich.
You know me too well. All the same, I need to gather my thoughts.
Yeah, I know you very well. And I can't know you too well. We should still get to know each other even better. But yeah, do your thinking and whatever. I'm used to that. Something I forgot to mention, which path you chose for him in the first game actually has an impact on which starting gear he has. because now he has this very nice scepter, the key breaker, which is a solid item to begin with, and with upgrades it's one of the best items in the game, in my opinion. But if you chose to make him the Grandmaster of the Leaden Key, he actually starts with Theos' headdress, because then he didn't burn Theos' remains and, well, had it on the ceremonial garb. And I actually feel like the game wants to reward me for choosing the right path, because Theos' headdress is a shitty item. It's really not good. And it's ugly as shit. It's so ugly. I already mocked this item in the first game in Theos World. And seriously, I can't let this beautiful elf run around in such a crime for fashion. That wouldn't be okay. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to say, because after I watched the last stream, I had a few afterthoughts about this betrayal thing. Actually, if you think about it really hard, actually, Aloth didn't really betray your main character. I mean, he didn't lie, but he withheld the truth. That's not good either, I know that. And as I said, real life Lynn would have slapped him in the face and given him the silent treatment for at least some weeks. She wouldn't have been as forgiving as in-game Lynn had to be, because she had limited options what she couldn't say. Anyway, it wasn't really lying. And he had several options to really betray her. I mean, he could have spied on her and told Leaden Key members we were in the temple of Vodika underneath Defiance Bay, where he could have switched sides. We were ambushed by the Leaden Key, I don't know, 2 or 3 times in Defiance Bay, one time on the way to Twin Elms, one time when we came home from Kana's quest. So there were options to switch sides and just say, hey, I'll join the other team now. So if he would have meant to harm Lynn, he could have done so, but he didn't. We even met Theos himself. I mean, what better option is there to say, hey, Grandmaster, here I am, I'll come with you and abandon the others. But he didn't do that, so it's not really betrayal. At least that's my opinion. I might be a bit biased. Tiny bit. Really tiny. Yeah.